Delhi woke up today as the most polluted city in the world, covered by a thick layer of smog, leaving behind hotspots in Pakistan and China. The city's overall AQI has climbed to above the 350 mark. The air quality index in Anand Vihar and Jahangirpuri hit the severe category, registering a reading above 400, posing serious health risks to residents. In another step to curb the rising air pollution in the national capital, the New Delhi Municipal Corporation on Tuesday doubled the parking charges in Lutyens Delhi area. Under the normal parking charges for surface parking, four-wheeler was charged 20 rupees per hour. That's now been doubled at this point. Now, this comes in addition to the enforcement of Stage 2 of the Graded Response Action Plan, or GRAP, in the national capital. In fact, a Lancet Planetary Health study, approximately 33,000 deaths have been reported annually in 10 cities in India due to air quality.
The report by the Health Effect Institute said in 2021, almost 8 million people in the world died because of air pollution. This is more than the number of people who have died due to COVID-19. We are very concerned about COVID, but we are not that concerned as we should be about air pollution. A lot of data suggests, and there is also data from our own country, India, in a recently published paper, that even just a 10 microgram per meter cube increase in PM 2.5 is associated with higher deaths. And this occurs because of respiratory and cardiac problem mainly. So people whose lungs are weak because of chronic diseases, air pollution causes more inflammation in the lungs, their respiratory problem worsens, they land up in the ICU, on a ventilator at times, and this leads to higher mortality.
थोड़ी सी क्या ज़्यादा ही दिक्कत हो रही है। आज तो ज़्यादा ही लग रहा है कि गले में खराश आ रही है, आँखों में पानी, मतलब आँखों में जलन सा हो रहा है। और वही चीज़ें जैसे इससे क्या हो रहा है, फिर छाती में ऐसा लग रहा है कि कुछ भर गया, जैसे ये ना पोल्यूशन अंदर जाके ऐसा लग रहा है कि छाती जाम हो चुकी है।
अब हमें भी वही फील हो रहा है। हम रोज़ साइकिलिंग करते, पहले के मुकाबले अगर अभी देखें तो हमें प्रॉब्लम होती है, हमारे हल्का से चेस्ट में भी पेन होने लग जाता है, क्योंकि कई सारे पॉल्यूटेंट जो है हमारे बॉडी के अंदर चले जाते हैं, जो अनवांटेड है, जो हमें चाहिए भी नहीं होते। तो कई सारी चीज़ें प्रॉब्लम हो रही है। रनिंग करते वक्त हमें प्रॉब्लम आती है, साइकिलिंग करते वक्त प्रॉब्लम आ रही है हमें।
Now, remember, the national capital is also suffering the consequences of the actions of neighboring states. While Haryana and Punjab have faced scrutiny for stubble burning, it's not just limited to these states. Yesterday, Madhya Pradesh recorded the highest number of incidents at 93, followed by Punjab with 71, Uttar Pradesh with 17, and Rajasthan with 36, also contributing. Since the 15th of September, a total of 3,878 cases have been reported of stubble burning across 6 states, creating significant challenges for air quality in the region. While the Aam Aadmi Party claims that stubble burning is the primary cause of air pollution in Delhi, data from the Ministry of Earth Sciences indicates that it only accounts for 3% of PM 2.5 levels at present. In contrast, transport is the largest contributor, responsible for almost 12% of the deterioration in air quality. But today, at this point here, the Supreme Court has come down heavily on both the CAQM panel as well as on the state governments for the ineffective response to air pollution in Delhi and the surrounding region. During a hearing today, Justice Abhay Oka remarked that the Environment Protection Act has become toothless, with penalties reduced to mere fines instead of meaningful prosecutions. He has urged the CAQM to take decisive action against state officials who have failed to address stubble burning, which is, as we told you, a key contributor to pollution. In response, the Additional Solicitor General has stated that the show-cause notices have been issued to officials in Punjab and Haryana, including the Additional Chief Secretary of Agriculture. However, the Supreme Court has insisted that these officials must be prosecuted under existing laws to ensure compliance. The court has also summoned the Chief Secretary of Punjab, warning of potential contempt charges for providing misleading statements. Let me first go across to my colleague Harish. I'm also being joined by Jaydhar Gupta, founder of Nirvana Being, who's been waiting quite patiently. Jaydhar, before I come to you, let me quickly get in a response from my correspondent as well. Harish has been tracking all those developments in the Supreme Court. Harish, take us through some of those very strong observations that came in from the Apex Court today, both for the CAQM as well as for the state governments of Punjab and Haryana.
Yes, that's right. Just now, the bench led by Justice Abhay S. Oak has said that unclean and polluted environment is a violation of Article 21 for the citizens, and says that citizens have a right to pollution-free environment, and says that year after year, this court has been passing directions to control stubble burning and air pollution in Delhi-NCR, but nothing else is happening. Despite orders every year, there is no change at the grassroots level. This is because strict action is not being taken, even in the CAQM Act and also acts of Punjab and Haryana. The provision for punishment has been replaced with petty fines. That's why the farmers are not obeying the orders of the CAQM or the state governments. We put all concerned to notice that stricter action will have to be taken against those responsible for violation. Saying so, the Supreme Court has very significantly ordered that all those officials who have not acted against stubble burning be prosecuted. Even after 3 years, our orders are not being complied with. Environment Protection Act has become toothless. Prosecute state officials who have not acted against stubble burning, and says, why punishment in act replaced with petty fines? Nobody will obey your orders. Supreme Court has told Punjab that you are giving a signal that even if people violate law, nothing will be done. Supreme Court also pulled the states up for challaning very few people out of those indulging in stubble burning, and said that even those who have been booked for stubble burning, even if FIR has been registered, no prosecution is being done. And the Supreme Court has said that even fines are a license for further stubble burning, because farmers pay fines and continue stubble burning. So this is just a license for further stubble burning, and the centre has been directed to immediately look into proposal made by states of Punjab and Haryana for extra funds to purchase tractors and diesel, etc., and also for alternative stubble burning mechanisms. So these are some of the observations made by the
All right,
Supreme
Harish,
Court,
thanks.
which is continuing with the Delhi-NCR pollution.
All right, Harish, thanks a lot. You guys, viewers can see on your screens right now, it's literally as people would say, the cause and the consequence you can see on your screens. On the left, stubble burning continues unabated. On the right, air quality in Delhi has been steadily deteriorating, crossing 350, which is the very poor category, and expected to touch 400 plus, which is severe according to the air quality index. I'm being joined by Jaydar Gupta, founder of Nirvana Being. Thank you so much, Mr. Gupta, for speaking to Mirror Now. The important question which our viewers now understand, it's something which confronts them every year, given the fact that this blame game between the politicians and the governments continues. What can you and I, what can people who are watching this broadcast right now do to try and be safe? Because it's evident that you can't lock yourself indoors for days at a stretch. When this problem started in 2016, it used to be there for a few days up to a week, but now it goes on for more than a month. It's mid-October and the air quality already started deteriorating. So obviously staying locked indoors is not a solution. So what can people do to try and ensure that their normal lives are not affected, yet at the same time they keep their lungs safe?
Firstly, I want to bust the myth. Your indoor air is 5 to 10 times worse than the outdoor air. Okay, it may even be 100 times worse than the outdoor air. Okay, so locking yourself indoors is certainly not a solution. If you Google anything about air quality, we've got so many problems indoors. In a home, it may be from your kitchen, because we are constantly doing tadkas and making parotis, or some form of frying, or something is going on in the kitchen. The kitchen is a huge source of emissions. But even all the construction materials, the paints, the polishes, the varnishes, the adhesives, everything off gases in an indoor environment. And also we have our own biological process of breathing carbon dioxide that we produce. So you cannot stay locked up inside your home in a closed environment, in a closed box. It's extremely detrimental to health. And I'm going to tell you again, indoor air quality in your home or your office is 5 to 10 times worse than outdoors. So what can you do? Really practice shallow breathing. You gotta wear a reusable N95 mask. I think that's the most important thing right now. I'm going to tell people who like to exercise in the morning, go for walks or runs or bicycling, please suspend that activity. If you are an addict, and you have to do something active, then do it during the warmest time of the day, which is probably going to be from about 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. or abouts. These are extremely hazardous conditions. I don't even understand the grab scales, because for me 200 is hazardous, where the poor scales of grab starts. We get caught in this every year after year, just because. Um, I think there's an apathy. I mean, we've been trying for so many years to, penalize bad behavior. That's what our government servants are doing right now, finding these farmers on the fields. It just doesn't seem productive. What if we try and incentivize good behavior? Let's change the crop mix in Punjab. Let's offer an MSP for the new crops, whatever it is, millets. I'm not an agricultural expert, but I think this problem can be solved very easily. I mean, I've been a cleaner activist for 10 years. When we were watching this ludicrous stuff happening, it just seems like a banana republic. It seems like either there's no leadership on health and environment in my country, or if there is a leadership on health and environment, nobody cares about solving the air pollution problem. Either they don't understand the problem, or nobody cares about fixing it. I mean, this is smog wash.
Is the
This
solution?
is mass genocide. As Dr. Guleria just said, more people die from air pollution every year just in the Indo-Gangetic plain than from COVID in 2.5 years. 1.7, 17 lakh deaths from air pollution every year. We choose to do nothing about it.
Is the problem, Mr. Gupta, in the fact that in our mindset, whether it be for the common people, whether it be for the political class, whether it be for the bureaucrats, we only understand or take pollution seriously when it is visible in front of us in the form of smog. The mindset of clean energy, energy sufficient, sustainable living is something which is still a luxury for most of us here. We do not prioritize the environment when we take our normal day-to-day decisions, whether it be buying a car, whether it be choosing to not take public transport, whether it be in terms of the energy requirements we have or the energy supplies we bring into house. We continue to rely on fossil fuels. We continue to rely on traditional forms of energy production. And only then, when we see the consequence in front of us, something which is built for over a period of time, then we realize, oh my God, what do we do about pollution? The fight against pollution cannot be limited to just these few weeks. Then we see that smog in front of us.
Absolutely. But on that note, let me tell you that, as a resident of Delhi, I can tell you, and I can certify for you that we don't see a single safe air quality day in the year. The safe level of PM 2.5 is under 5 micrograms per cubic meter. And I can probably certify that there is no city in India, even coastal city, that sees those kind of levels, which just tells you about pathetic conditions of health and hygiene and sanitation in our country, and ways of even handling our waste. But I got to tell you that the kind of morbidity and mortality that is arising from this. I mean, I was diagnosed personally from with bronchial asthma in 2013. My lungs are never going to get repaired again. And I think the greater thing to think about is that we consume only three, raw materials as humans: food, water, and air. And out of all those three, we consume about 12,000 liters of air in a day. And 12,000 liters of air also weighs about 14 kilograms. So, the big message here is you are what you breathe. Please become conscious of your air. It is the only thing that's going to keep you healthy.
Absolutely. And I'll just end on one interesting anecdote. Today, the NDMC has doubled parking fees to ensure that people do not take the vehicle out. Now, someone who can park for 20 rupees an hour can easily afford 40 rupees an hour. That extra 20 rupees is not going to dissuade someone from not taking his or her car out and using the metro or a bus instead. And this is where our solutions are often reactive. They're not preemptive enough, and that is why we are seeing the situation right now, which is why even the Supreme Court is so upset. Thank you so much, Mr. Gupta, for joining us. Pleasure to have you on Mirror now.